Assalamu alaikum YouTube, this is Said Mirza. In today's video, I wanted to continue on with my investigation of Satan's matrix of control in light of the Quran. I have uncovered some more information that I would like to share with you. Specifically, what I want to talk about today is the aladhina kafaru, which Brother Gerrans translates as the indifferent to warning. And their definition can be found in the beginning of chapter 2. And we'll go over some of the salient points in that definition and the treatment of this phrase in the Quran. But I wanted to bring your attention to another point about the aladhina kafaru, which is missed, I think, by most of the Muslims, is that this is not an unseen force, that is an abstract force that nobody really knows who these people are. Some person who is working at McDonald's or Walmart is not the allazina kafaru, at least not in the sense that the Quran is using this term, because these are specific people who are oppressing men, who are the enemy of the believers, and we are to take them as enemies, and that they are serving Satan, they are serving false gods. This is the idea behind the allazina kafaru. And God willing, as I go through this presentation, what the Quran means by this phrase will become clearer to you, and you will understand who this group is. And I think that's the first step: know thy enemy. If we don't know the enemy, we can't really be expected to resist them and fight them. So I just want to go over the definition, which Brother Gerrans is using for the allazina kafaru, the indifferent warning. These translations are from his work, The Quran, A Complete Revelation, which can be downloaded for free from Qur'anite.com. So he finds the definition of the allazina kafaru in chapter 2, verse 6, and it goes, "Those who are indifferent to warning, the allazina kafaru, it is the same to them whether thou warnest them or thou hast not warned them. They do not believe." So the alladina kafaru are those people who have been, who it is the same whether you warn them or do not warn them, but the sort of the legal threshold is reached when they are warned. At least that's my reading of it. So the allazina kafaru are those people who have been warned, and so then they are the allazina kafaru. Now, this idea of the allazina kafaru is tied in the Quran with, surprisingly, in a lot of verses, with the idea of dominion, of power, of kingship. We read in chapter 2, verse 258, "Hast thou not considered the one who disputed with Ibrahim concerning his Lord, since God had given him dominion? When Ibrahim said, 'My Lord is he who gives life and gives death,' he said, 'I give life and give death.' Ibrahim said, 'God brings the sun from the east, so bring thou it from the west.' Then was the one indifferent to warning lost for words, and God guides not the wrongdoing people." Chapter 2, verse 258. So, as you can see, that the indifferent to warning here is the king himself, who is basically arrogant and saying that I am the one giving life and giving death. We continue on. We find in chapter 3, verses 10 and 11, "Those who are indifferent to warning, their wealth and their children will avail them nothing against God. And these are fuel for the fire, like the case of the house of Pharaoh and those who were before them. They repudiated our proofs. So God sees them for their transgressions, and God is severe in retribution." So I just want to jump off here and make a quick note. So the Quran is specifically saying that their wealth and their children will avail them nothing against God. So whoever these people are, they obviously have wealth and children. Again, it's the sovereigns, the kings, the potentates who have historically have had wealth and children. Just take the case of the House of Saud, the current monarch of Saudi Arabia. How many children does he have? And in the case of wealth, we'll get to one specific person who is the largest landowner in the on planet Earth right now. Okay, continuing on, we have chapter 3, verse 56. "And as for those who are indifferent to warning," the alladina kafaru again, "I will punish them with a severe punishment in this world and the hereafter, and they have no helpers." Now, something to note: the Quran, in the Quran, God is saying that He will punish them with a severe punishment in this world and the hereafter. So if you are thinking about these kings and potentates, the current king of Saudi Arabia, or Queen Elizabeth, or uh, king of Thailand, or whoever, these people, the aladhina kafaru, are they really being punished in this world? They're enjoying life. They're having the best foods, and they're procreating. They have mastery over the land. So I wouldn't say that they are being punished in this life, because again, they haven't moved to that next threshold. The legal status has not changed for them. They are not the indifferent to warning, because warning has not been given to them. And just to get on a side note, this idea actually finds its genesis in Brother Gerrans' work. And his main thrust has been always to warn the elite. So you can see the confirmation of that in what we're going over, the verses treating of the aladhina kafaru. I think his book, The God Protocol, will obviously shed more light into this mechanism. Okay, so continuing on, we have in chapter 3, verse 91, those who are indifferent to warning and die as atheists, there would not be accepted from one of them an earth full of gold, were he to seek to ransom himself thereby. They have a painful punishment, and they have no helpers. Again, the motive is of worldly wealth and gold, obviously. And who is hoarding the most gold? It's not the guy working at Walmart. He doesn't have any money to his name. So it's saying they will not be accepted from one of them an earth full of gold, which presupposes that they do have these resources. They have the resources of gold, of silver, of platinum, for them to be able to ransom themselves by. And so again, we have the idea that the elites, and specifically the monarchs, the potentates, the popes, they are the ones who are the aladhina kafaru. Okay, again, we have in chapter 3, verse 116, those who are indifferent to warning, their wealth and their children will avail them nothing against God. And these are the companions of the fire, wherein they abide eternally. We have in chapter 3, verses 196 and 197, let not deceive thee, going to and fro of those who are indifferent to warning in the land, a little enjoyment, then their habitation is hell, and evil is the resting place. Okay, we have in chapter 4, verse 84, so fight thou for the cause of God. Thou art not charged save with thyself, but rouse thou the believers. It may be that God will restrain the might of those who are indifferent to warning. And God is stronger in might and stronger in exemplary punishment. Again, the motive is of having mastery over the land. They have might. They are the ones commanding vast armies and over the land and the sea. Chapter 5, verse 36, those who are indifferent to warning were there to have what is in the earth altogether, and the like thereof with it, to ransom them from the punishment on the day of resurrection. It would not be accepted from them, and they have a painful punishment. Again, the idea is that they do have what is in the earth. And I will go over actually an interesting thing I found when you Google the largest landowners in the world. So I'm going to leave that to the end. Okay, to continue on, we have in chapter 7, verse 66, said the eminent ones who were indifferent to warning among his people, we see thee in foolishness, and we consider thee a liar. Again, is the elite here. Chapter 8, verse 30. And when those who are indifferent to warning scheme against thee to restrain thee, or to kill thee, or to drive thee out, and they scheme, and God schemes, and God is the best of schemers. So these indifferent to warning, these aladhina kafaru, they are scheming in the land, and these are the ones who are basically the chairmen of the World Economic Forum and the CFR and all these other great organizations who are about to bring in the Great Reset. So these are the ones who were scheming against the messenger of God himself too, because the Muslims have a very sort of a fairy tale idea of what Muhammad was doing, as in he was just it was a ragtag band of people who were fighting against another ragtag tribe, if you will, of the Al-Kafirun, and this was just a sort of a tribal issue. This was not what was going on. Muhammad was taking on the the elites, the sovereigns in his time and age. And that's what all the prophets and messengers have always done. They have always gone against the status quo, the establishment, the people in authority, and that's why they were persecuted, they were hated, and cavalries and forces were run against them because they were trying to get people. They were trying to free people from the subjugation of the state. So this is what it's about. It's not about some guy coming in and saying, okay, there is one God, and then the other people basically trying to persecute him and throw him out. Because if you think about, and I'm kind of sidestepping here, but if you actually believe the narrative that the Islam is pushing, you have these the people, the Quraysh, the tribe of Quraysh, who were basically the ones who were at the time of Muhammad. They were worshipping 360 idols, I believe, or some 359, some figure like that. So what's a big deal for them to take another idol into their pantheon? It wasn't a big deal. And historically, no one has fought someone else because they believe in another god. Live and let live. That's always been the philosophy of the masses. So this was, whoever these men were, the messengers and the prophets, they came to fight against the system of oppression and to raise voice against it. And this was why they were persecuted. Anyway, to continue forward, we have here chapter 8, verse 36. Those who are indifferent to warning spend their wealth on forsaking the path of God. So they will spend it. Then will it become a sorrow for them. Then will they be defeated. And those who are indifferent to warning will be gathered into hell. A guy, again, I keep using the term Walmart, but I don't know why it's sticking with me. But some guy working at Walmart is not spending his wealth in forsaking the path of God. Which, by the way, what does that mean, forsaking the path of God? It's using your wealth to trick men, to get them to deviate from God's path. This is the idea behind forsaking the path of God. They are actively spreading disinformation, lies, propaganda. They're spending their money in that aspect. This is the elites again. This is the kings, the sovereigns, the potentates, who would rather that men be subjugated by them instead of being free-thinking individuals, which would be a threat to their monarchies. Okay, next one is chapter 11, verse 27. Then said the eminent ones who were indifferent to warning among his people, We see thee only a mortal like us, and we see not that any follow thee save those who are lowest among us at first appearance, and we see not in you over us any merit. The truth is we consider you liars. Again, it's about appearances. These people, these aladhina, kafaru, are better in appearances. They have the best clothes, they have the best cars, they have the best things money can buy. We have chapter 14, verse 13. And those who were indifferent to warning said to the messengers, We will turn you out of our land unless you return to our creed. And their Lord instructed them, We will destroy the wrongdoers. How can they turn the messengers out of their land? The only way they could do that is they have dominion over the land. Those who are indifferent to warning and forsake the path of God, will we increase them in punishment over the punishment for what they wrought of corruption? Chapter 16, verse 88. Again, the theme is that they are actively causing corruption in the earth. Okay, we have in chapter 19, verse 73. And when our clear proofs are recited to them, those who are indifferent to warning say to those who heed warning, Which of the two factions is better in station and better in assembly? Again, they are the ones who are better in assembly. They are the ones who, have the entourages. The believers don't. The believers are, common people, common men, pedestrian, if you will. Chapter 23, verse 33. And said the eminent ones of his people, those who were indifferent to warning and repudiated the meeting of the hereafter, and whom we had given opulence in the life of this world. This is only a mortal like you. He eats of that whereof you eat, and drinks of what you drink. They are given opulence in the land. Okay, chapter 29, verse 12. And those who are indifferent to warning say to those who heed warning, Follow our way, and we will bear your errors. But they will not bear anything of their errors. They are liars, and they will bear their loads, and loads besides their loads. And they will be asked on the day of resurrection about what they invented. Now, isn't that true of the system we live in right now? That our leaders are the ones who are saying, hey, just listen to us, follow us, we can protect you. And these leaders themselves are being deluded by people above them on the pay grade. And you keep going up the ladder, the pyramid, and ultimately you reach one ruler who I will tell you who that person is. Okay, next one is, and as for those who were indifferent to warning, were not our proofs recited to you, and you were proud and an evil doing people. Chapter 45, verse 31. They are proud. We created the heavens and the earth and what is between them only aright and for a term appointed, but those who are indifferent to warning turn away from that whereof they are warned. Chapter 46, verse 3. And the day those who are indifferent to warning are exposed to the fire, you left your good things in the life of this world and sought enjoyment therein. And this day are you rewarded with the punishment of humiliation, because you were proud in the earth without cause, and because you were wantonly perfidious. Chapter 46, verse 20. So they have good things in the life of this world, no question about it. Okay, next one. Chapter 64, verses 5 and 6. Has not the story reached you of those who were indifferent to warning before, and so tasted the evil consequences of their affair? And they had a painful punishment, because when their messengers came to them with clear evidence, they said, shall mortals guide us? So they denied and turned away. And God is rich, and God is free from need. Praiseworthy. So, again, God is rich. They're not the ones who are rich, even though they think they are, because they have been given these worldly resources for a limited time. And they are the ones who think that they are the free of need, as in they are the monarchs. They are the ones who have power over their subjects. And God negates both of these points in the last part of this verse. And again, these indifferent to warning, they tasted the evil consequences of their affair. What was the evil consequence? That they denied their messengers when they came to them with clear evidence. So literally what's happening is that there's a change in the legal status after they have been warned, and they become the indifferent to warning then. Okay, last one here, chapter 84, verses 20 through 24. Then what ails them that they do not believe, and when the Qur'an is recited to them, they do not submit? The truth is, those who are indifferent to warning reject, and God knows best what they hoard. So give thou them tidings of a painful punishment. So this is the obviously these are not the only occurrences of this phrase, indifferent to warning. You can go and look in the Quran for the rest of them. Again, you can refer to Brother Gerrans' work, the Quran Complete Revelation, in which I think in Article 2 he gives a full definition of this term, as well as his understanding of it, his commentary, and he also puts in the I think there's 124 occurrences of this 129 actually occurrences of this phrase in the Quran. So you can research it at your leisure, but I've tried not to handpick anything or to push an agenda. This is my reading of and what I'm seeing from the Quran. Now what I wanted to do is I wanted to look at, because I was curious. It said that were they to have what is in the earth altogether, and the like thereof with it, that they could not take it as a ransom. And some of the wisdom that has been passed down to me by my forefathers is that the measure of wealth is land and gold, and that's actually true. And because paper currency is just an invention, it's not real. So if you're gonna search for the most, the richest men in the world, you're gonna come up with some list with Bill Gates at the top and Warren Buffett and Jeff Bezos, blah blah blah. But that's really not a true source of wealth. That's just paper currency in a bank account. It's not real true wealth. What I'm interested in is who owns the gold and who owns the land. It's tough to find out who owns the gold, because it's all hidden under in treasuries and holding companies. But you can find out who the owners are of the land. So I wanted to do something. What I typed into Google, and you can do this yourself, is you can do something like biggest holders of land in the world, and what comes up is actually very interesting. We have here And this is from Business Insider, so this is not some sort of conspiracy website. This is mainstream media. So in Business Insider, the world's 15 biggest landowners collectively they claim 7.8 billion acres. The world's total land mass consists of 36.8 billion acres. So here we have they're gonna start with number 15. I don't really care about that. I want to know who the number one is. So we go all the way to the bottom of this article, and I'll put a link of this article on my description box here. So the number one biggest landowner in the world owns 6.6 billion acres of land, and that is Queen Elizabeth II. Okay, so this is who the monarch is that currently rules the tyranny we're in, ladies and gentlemen. And number two biggest landowner is King Abdullah of Saudi Arabia. And number three biggest landowner in the world is Pope Benedict. And number four biggest landowner in the world is King Mohammed VI of Morocco. And the list goes on. What I'm trying to say here is that these are the kings, potentates, sovereigns, and popes that are still ruling the world. And these people that you are voting for, Trump or Biden and all these other world wrestling champions, I usually call them, because they're this is just a show. Anyway, these are the men who we are taught to believe hold the reins of power. That's not true. Anyway, definitely research what I said and look in the Qur'an and see if what I'm saying makes sense. Those are my insights at the moment in regards to this. God willing, next video we will touch upon the Al-Kafirun in the Qur'an and see what group we can identify from the descriptions in the Qur'an for this group. That's it for now. I hope everyone is doing well. Peace and God bless.